Hey guys, OJ Albina here, bringing you guys my NCP Wi-Fi Week 8 match versus Zygarde and his Lawrence Talonflames. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy the video, and the battle and all stuff, and you want to catch our battles as they go, be sure to subscribe and all that stuff just so you can catch them as they go up in the future. But yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into the video. I do want to do a quick little team builder in the beginning just to kind of give you guys a insight into my thought process while building, why I brought the mons that I brought, EV spreads, movesets, and all that stuff. So yeah, if you guys did forget, our team consists of the Zygarde, Keldeo, Florges, Mega Aggron, Azelf, Serena, Drapion, Staraptor, Alolan Marowak, Crustle, and Rotom Fan, while our opponent's team consists of the Mega Charizard Y, Excadrill, Celebi, Empoleon, Gardevoir, Weavile, Ditto, Komala, Hawlucha, Electivire, and Torterra. So right off the bat, this is another week where our defensive matchup is absolutely horrible. Charizard Y, destroys our team. Excadrill really runs through our team. A Nasty Plot Celebi can run through our team. Weavile runs through our team. Hawlucha can potentially run through our team with a little bit of chip. Even something like Rock Polish Torterra can honestly just run through our team. So that is very, very terrifying. We really don't match up well defensively. And I do kind of want to, put that out there right before, because going into building, I initially built like 2 or 3 teams where I was trying to check his offense while putting up enough pressure to beat him, and it just wasn't working. I couldn't come up with any team that was, remotely functioning that could check all of his offense, so I decided to ditch that altogether and go for a much more offensive build this week, which is, a bit out of my comfort zone, but I figured in this matchup it was my best way of winning. I basically built with, 2 decent pivots and then 4 super offensive mons. To kind of, just overwhelm him before he can overwhelm me. So that was kind of my thought process in going into building, just so you kind of have an insight to that when you see, just pretty much an all-out blitz of an offensive team, just trying to overwhelm and potentially win late game. So yeah, with that being said, let's jump right into Team Builder. Our first mon right here is going to be our Alolan Marowak with Fit Club, Lightning Rod ability, Stealth Rock, Pain Split, Fire Punch, Shadow Bone, 248 HP, 36 attack, 4 defense, 220 spit def with a careful nature. So this serves as our Zygarde Y check. We're actually never 2-hit KO'd by Fire Blast in the Sun by this thing, which is great. We're never 2-hit KO'd by Air Slash, Ancient Power, anything like that. We do take 2 of those 100% of the time. And we do a huge chunk with Shadow Bone. We can even potentially 2-hit KO with Fire Punch, which is pretty crazy. But Shadow Bone obviously is definitely a 2-hit KO, definitely goes after rocks, that stuff. Pain Split lets us Pain Split up on switches, or on, stuff that's potentially full health and all that stuff. And this is our Stealth Rocker this week, as well as we can force up the Charizard Y, or we can, come in and get the rocks up for the Zygarde Y, even if we aren't able to check it ourselves. And the Marowak's about to go down or too low to really check it, we can get up like a last-ditch Stealth Rock or something like that. Excuse me. But yeah, so that's going to be our Marowak this week. This is going to be one of our more bulky mons to pivot into. Despite it being a very bulky Marowak set this week, he still doesn't switch in very well to it at all. His team does not appreciate offensive fire types, and in the sun, fire punches are going to be do an absolute chunk to things with Fit Club, on top of, just our 36 attack EVs. But yeah. So next up we have our Serena with the leftovers, rocking out with the Queenly Majesty ability, Synthesis, U-Turn, Rapid Spin, and Power Whip. This is going to be our Excadrill check. We are never 2-hit KO'd by Max Attack, Life, or Excadrill. Excadrill's Iron Head, which is very, very nice. I believe we usually take it after rocks as well because of our leftovers, as long as we still have that with that 148 impish investment. And also serves as our Rapid Spinner for Marowak. I don't want to get rid of my own rocks because of that Charizard and that Weavile being such huge threats versus me, but I do not want rocks on my side of the field for our Marowak, especially, and another member on our team later on. If I can't avoid having rocks up on the field at that time, I definitely will. And then we definitely do have U-Turn as well to punish that Zygarde Y switch, which is very, very obvious to Serena, as it pretty much hardballs it, and it can come in and basically claim a kill if we aren't, keeping up momentum and stuff like that. So yeah, that's going to be our Serena. Next up, we have our Zygarde with the leftovers, Aura Break abilities, Substitute Extreme Speed, 1000 Arrows, and Dragon Dance, 108 HP, 188 attack, 4 defense, 4 speed def, and 204 speed with a Jolly nature. So this gives us enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Excadrill, and the attack investment is also enough to always knock out an Excadrill before rocks. So you know, no HP Excadrill is always knocked out by our Zygarde spread with 1,000 arrows. We're doing a huge chunk that we can potentially set up on it. We do force a lot of switches with Zygarde, which is why we are running the substitute sub-lefties. And if we can chip down his grasses, namely being the Celebi and the Torterra, this is a great win con. But yeah, excuse me. But yeah, it is a really good win con. Also substitute for things like the Weavile wanting to pick us off with an Ice Shard or something like that. We also do have extreme speed in case we are +1 and is in range. I believe it has to be at about half. So after 2 rock switch-ins, we definitely do knock out Weavile with +1 extreme speed, unless he, you know, has next level big brain prep and brings like Chillon Weavile, which would be super cool. I honestly probably wouldn't be mad at that point. But yeah, so that is our Zygarde this week. Great win con. Next up is a set I'm really excited to bring. I've been wanting to fit this on a team this whole season, but I unfortunately just haven't been able to, and that's going to be this Aggron set right here. So we do have Mega Aggron with the filter ability, Rock Polish, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Ice Punch, 60 HP, 236 attack, and 212 speed with an Adamant Nature. I believe, I'm totally forgetting, I probably should have written this down in my notes, but I believe the HP allows us to take 2 low kicks from an Adamant Weavile, and the 212 speed, I know for sure, allows us to outspeed a Jolly Weavile after a Rock Polish, which is the fastest thing on his team, obviously. Unfortunately, we cannot fit Heavy Slam, but Rock Slide is doing enough to, you know, the Weavile, as well as, you know, Earthquake is doing a huge chunk to the Gardevoir if we can get chip on it. So I figured going without Heavy Slam wasn't too big of a deal. We do have Rock Slide for the Zard, to always OHKO that, and then Ice Punch for his grasses like Celebi and Torterra. If we can chip the Celebi and a few other things, just get a tiny bit of damage on it, this is actually really good in the late game. It can honestly just win and just claim through our opponent's team, which is absolutely amazing. So I am really hoping this set works out. I tried to bring it last week versus Silver, but it just ended up not fitting on the team. So I am glad I did get to bring it this week, and yeah, hopefully it does work. So right here we have, for our next number, we have our Staraptor with Choice Scarf, Reckless ability, U-turn, Double Edge, Brave Bird, Close Combat, 84 HP, 252 attack, 4 defense, 4 speed def, and 164 speed with an Adamant Nature. We're going pretty aggressive on our speed creeps right here. I really wanted the Adamant Nature. It gave us so many more, you know, OHKOs on things. So I did, you know, very aggressively creep. I'm creeping his Drill, his Excadrill creeping a max speed Florges. I don't think he really has any reason to run a max speed Excadrill if he brings it, so I'm hoping that we aren't, you know, like punished for that aggressive creep. But regardless, this is an amazing revenge killer in this matchup. He has 0 switch-ins to Double Edge whatsoever. His Steel type is Excadrill, which definitely dies to a close combat, and I believe it's to a KO by Double Edge as well. Everything just pretty much dies to Double Edge, which is absolutely amazing. We can just destroy things with that. Brave Bird is also very spammable too once the Electivire goes down, and then U-turn is very nice for stuff like Celebi and stuff like that, because it's a guaranteed OHKO on that thing always, and, you know, we get momentum if he does decide to switch. So Staraptor is looking very nice in this matchup. You know, really excited to see it do well. And then lastly, we are bringing Keldeo back, our MVP so far this season, with the leftovers, Calm Mind, Surf, Secret Sword, and Hidden Power Bug. 88 HP, 252 special attack, and 168 speed with a tip in nature. The speed, I believe, is 4. I believe it's 4 base 100s, unless I'm just completely wrong. So, you know, Celebi, the Zard Y, stuff like that. Then just max special attack and the rest thrown into HP for overall bulk. This mon can honestly just win if there is no Sun Up and we do get a Calm Mind. We just need a little bit of chip on stuff like the Gardevoir, and pretty much everything dies. With a tiny bit of chip in the late game, this thing is absolutely amazing at +1. It serves as a great Weavile check. You know, dual stabs aren't doing very much to us. And I believe the moveset will probably be something like, it'll be Icicle Crash, Knockoff, Ice Shard, and Low Kick for our Aggron. If it's not carrying Low Kick for our Aggron, it's complete setup fodder for that. We check it even if we are, you know, a more offensive Aggron this week. So I'm not too worried about Weavile as long as I do have these 2 guys around, which is very nice. Yeah. But yeah, Dual Step hits everything not named Celebi, and Celebi dies to a +1 hidden power bug if he is, you know, a more offensive Celebi. If he's max HP, we just need a little bit of chip and we can knock that thing out with a hidden power bug at +1, which is great. And yeah, so that's definitely going to be a mon we kind of push forward to hopefully winning with in the late game. But yeah, with that being said, let's jump into the battle. Alright guys, here we are with the battle. So looking at the team that Austin elected to bring, looks like he went with the Mega Charizard Y, the Excadrill, Komala, Electivire, Celebi, and Gardevoir. So nothing too surprising other than the Komala. I really wasn't expecting Komala. I don't know exactly what it's here for. I suppose it does give him spin if he wants to, you know, potentially stack me, but it looks like the only thing he possibly bought was rocks on either Celebi or Drill. But regardless, the rest looks pretty, you know, standard what I was expecting. You know, these things all do really well versus me. I am very, very glad to see no Weavile, though. That makes our Zygarde much better. All we need to do really is chip that Celebi and that Gardevoir just a tiny bit, and plus 1,000 arrows just runs through this team. So we do just need to chip those things down. But yeah, that being said, let's jump right in. I am going to elect to lead off with my Marowak right off the bat, because if he does end up leading his Charizard, I don't want to be put in a disadvantaged situation to where I basically have to switch in and hope for no crit, or hope he's not modest or something like that, and just give him the momentum. So he does end up leading off the Charizard, so it does put us in a pretty good position right here. So I am going to lead off with our Alolan Marowak. So right here I had many options. I could have gone for the Shadow Bone to do a huge chunk to this thing. I could have gone for the Stealth Rocks to get those up, or I could have gone for the Fire Punch. And I end up going for the Fire Punch right here, mostly because one, it's still going to do a big chunk to this Charizard regardless. Two, I figured that a likely switcher might be the Komala, expecting the Shadow Bone or expecting the Rocks, just so it can, you know, potentially switch out right there. But he doesn't like to stay in, and he goes for the Ancient Power. We see that it actually isn't a 2-hit KO, and we still do a fat chunk to this thing with the Fire Punch, which is very nice. So right here, this time, I'm just not going to overplay. I'm going to go straight for the Shadow Bone. Hopefully, we can knock this thing out, but unfortunately, we get flinched. So we get flinched down, and we lose our only check to this thing because of a flinch, which is very, very scary, very terrifying, because down it goes. Luckily, he doesn't get an Ancient Power Boost. I'm okay with the flinch as long as he doesn't get, you know, an Ancient Power Boost or two. That might have been the game at that point if that ended up happening. Yeah, so right here, I'm going to go into my Staraptor right here, and I'm just going to throw off a Double Edge. Something dies. Nothing on his team can take it. The Excadrill gets 2-hit KO'd. He goes into the Electivire, hoping I go for the Brave Bird, but we definitely are just going to go for the Double Edge. It's pretty much unresisted besides the Drill, and we are going to take out the Electivire, which is great for a Keldeo on the back, because if that thing was Scarfed, then it potentially could have, you know, been a revenge killer for it if it was Wild Charge or something like that. So yeah, he's going to go into his Komala right here. Not really expecting why. I am just going to go for the Double Edge. Even if he's max HP, this is a guaranteed KO, and max defense is, you know, a pretty good roll in my favor. So I am just going to go straight for the Double Edge and knock that thing out too, and that's 2 kills for Staraptor right off the bat, which is absolutely amazing. And this turn, he's going to go into his Excadrill right here. I'm not going to stay in because I definitely can't, you know, OHKO this thing, unfortunately. I am going to go into my Serena because it is a good check for it, as he does end up just going for the Rock Slide, I believe it is right here. So that definitely would have taken out a Staraptor, obviously, but we chew that with our Serena, and right here, expecting, you know, him to switch out, or even if he attacks us, getting a slow U-turn off is great, because then we can go into something like Zygarde, but he is going to switch out into the Zard Y, trying to take advantage of our, you know, potential, you know, Power Whip or Jump Kick or something like that. So we are going to U-turn out and get some momentum on that thing, which is very nice. Bring it to just below half as Serena comes back to us, and we elect to go into our Staraptor again, and we're going to claim another kill. Something else is going to die at this point, which is great. He elects to sack off the Charizard right here, which is amazing, because like I said before, this is the absolute biggest threat to our team. And being that it was at low health, we actually don't die to recall right here. So we potentially have another hit in us, so we can potentially come in and knock something else out later. So right here, he's going to go into his Celebi. I don't necessarily OHKO if he is a more bulkier spread with Double Edge, so I am going to switch out right here into my Serena, just to slow pivot out on this thing, as he ends up going for the Reflect. Which isn't too big of a deal. We can, you know, potentially stall this out with our Staraptor and our Serena, you know, U-turning all around, because we are going to be slower than this thing most likely. as he does switch out himself right here, and he goes into his Excadrill, as I'm just going to U-turn right on out, giving me a free switch out into my Keldeo right here. So yeah, we go for the U-turn. Talking a little too fast, man, getting ahead of myself. But yeah, we're gonna switch out on this Excadrill, go out into our Keldeo right here, and I have options right here. I can go for the Secret Sword, definitely knock this thing out. I can go for the Surf, which I like to go for right here because it's still doing a huge chunk to it. And I also didn't think he'd Sand. I thought he may be going to the Guard, and I wanted to get as much chip on that as I could for my Zygarde in the back. But he does go for the Earthquake right here. And unfortunately, we didn't take him out with the Surf, obviously due to the sun still being there. But we do, pretty comfortably eat this, and we see that he was not a Choice Scarf Excadrill, so we can just sit here and click Surf one more time versus this guy. And knock out the Excadrill, which is very nice, taking that guy out because our Serena, takes a lot of pressure off our Serena to where we can kind of use it as a slow pivot for the rest of this game, which is great. So Keldeo picks up another kill right here as he goes into his Celebi, and right here, just to avoid no setup chances at all, I'm just going to go straight for the Hidden Power Bug, and I'm going to do a huge chunk to the Celebi. He likely was, more offensive or something like that. And he is going to go for the Calm Mind right here. So I didn't want to allow something like that to happen, switch out on that and him potentially, knocking us out, something like that on the switch out. So right here, we are just going to be able to go for another Hidden Power Bug and knock out this Celebi right here and take it out, which is very, very nice. The game's looking all but sealed right here. I don't think Gardevoir can possibly, potentially beat us right here. Even though we don't have Heavy Slam on the Aggron, one Surf will definitely put it in range of an Earthquake, which is very, very nice, pretty much sealing us the game. So out comes the Gardevoir right here. I am going to go for the Surf as they trace are justified, which isn't a very big deal at all. And we're going to go for that. This is a potential 2-hit KO, which is very, very nice for us. Potentially, pretty much sealing this game. And he goes for the Hyper Voice, which I'm not sure if he accidentally thought he was a Mega Gardevoir or something like that, or it was just for, a nice little meme or something like that. But we are definitely going to live that, which actually saves us a point of differential, which is nice in the long run for playoffs. So we are going to knock, we're actually going to get the roll right here, spoilers, and we're going to knock out the Gardevoir, sealing this game for us as we pick up a nice 5-0 victory. 3 kills for Staraptor, 3 kills for Keldeo, which we did set up that nice end game for it. Like I said earlier, which is great that we, were able to pick up that win in that fashion. So after 2, pretty tough losses, getting a nice decisive victory like this definitely helps us in the playoff scheme of things. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure, like I said, to subscribe so you can catch them as they go up. And thank you guys so much for watching. Later.